Hi and welcome to the Bruce Channel. I'm Bruce and glad that you've decided to join us, especially in light of the fact that this is the time of year when most people find themselves with more to do than they have time in which to do it. Before anything else, I want to show you this. It's cute and I am jealous. This is as simple an idea as can be, but it's clever. And I'm jealous because I didn't think of it. All right, this is, remember, a YouTube channel, so I'd encourage you to subscribe. But more, I'd encourage you to encourage your friends to watch. Like us on Facebook and certainly share too. Oh, tinyurl.com/Bruce Channel is the YouTube page where you can view all of the shows, and if you want to watch them chronologically, watch from the bottom up. And if you'd like to comment or offer a topic suggestion for a future show, write us at thebrucechannel@yahoo.com. I did get a note from Ann G. of Nashville, and she writes, I don't disagree with you about happy holidays, but I think your characterization of let's put Christ back in Christmas was overboard. I think that when people say that, it's because it seems the real reason for the season is lost, that it's become almost wholly about buying things. Well, Anne, I completely agree with you, and upon reflection, I probably should have kept the rant separated in as much as I completely share your sentiment about the elevated importance we put on buying and selling. That view is what led to my rant a few weeks ago against stores opening on Thanksgiving, that buying stuff has replaced giving joy, has replaced what made the season special in the first place. I remember when I was a kid, an annual Christmas ad for a really nice gift, meaning somewhat expensive, was for an Norelco electric razor. The voices in the commercial saying, floating heads, floating heads. And now we see ads for brand new, shiny, luxury cars? Really? In my own life, I've done it both ways. One of the best Christmases I had from the standpoint of giving just the right gift was when I gave my dad a Cadillac. It was used, it was old, it didn't cost that much. But he was a middle-class guy for whom the thought of driving a Cadillac was like, out of a dream. Now that year I gave my other family members a portable color television. It wasn't that they'd never had one, but this one was theirs and they could watch it whenever they wanted. Conversely, another Christmas I hit a home run was when I spent very little. I secreted the family stash of 8mm home movies out of the house and at a friend's, assembled them chronologically as best I could, and then using the friend's video camera, turned them into VHS tapes. It cost nothing, but as the plastic people would say, it was priceless. So, all right, and thank you for writing. I really do appreciate the opportunity to clarify last week's remarks. Now, for several years, I have emailed this link, or a link, to my friends and posted it on Facebook, and I think it's 5 or 6 years since I first found it, and I still believe it is the most heartwarming video of the season I've ever seen. The thing is, I think there's probably no one who hasn't seen it, so I won't show it here. But if you don't recognize these stills from the video, then you haven't seen it, and you simply must. So Google YouTube Dogs Christmas, and look for something like these images. Watch it, and your heart's cockles will be infinitely warmed. Toasted even. Well, as we've been talking about the holidays, and yes, I also have more to do than time would seem to allow. So as usual, I'm behind in everything. Christmas cards, Christmas shopping, Christmas wrapping, Christmas packing, I could go on. But, you know, being behind in those things puts me behind in all the other things that go on in life. You know, cleaning, laundry, grocery shopping, car maintenance, you get the idea. The Postal Service's recommended deadlines have now passed, so everything I'm mailing will arrive late. But I'm trying. And I've still got to put the last mowing of the season on the lawn. I've got to make an appointment for Katie to go to the vet. I agreed to help a friend fix her computer. There's also presents to wrap and pack and ship, and did I mention they'd be late? Some good friends got married last night, and today my hometown Browns will mix it up with my adopted home team, the Panthers. Yeah, both their seasons have evaporated, but still, I mean, we do have our priorities. Did I mention wrapping? I've always marveled at how beautifully most presents come wrapped. Now, I don't want to sound sexist, but most gift wrapping, I think, is done by females. My mother wrapped beautifully. My sister does. My ex-mother-in-law does. My ex-wife does. If you have the professionals at the store wrap the gifts, they're always women. So I must wonder then, is it something we're born with? Is there something in our little Y chromosomes that forfeits men's ability to gift wrap? Or is it something that women pass on to their daughters in some sort of secret rite of passage? You know, kind of a tradition like a man teaching his son how to fish or handle a baseball glove. I know I'm always confounded by getting the paper to come out the right length, you know, so that the gift underneath doesn't show, or as more often happens with me, there's too much paper left over and now this extra stuff has to be somehow smooshed to lie flat. I think the best men wrappers are probably engineers and architects. You know, guys who work with and create and understand blueprints. Now, over the years, I've become rather famous for my wrapping. My relatives might say infamous. Any rate, because my efforts are easily identifiable, I no longer have to tag the gifts I give. They're rather easy to spot. Oh, and holding down the paper? Well, while holding it down and trying to get the tape in the right place, and that's another fumbling that confounds me. I did solve that one year. I used staples. I was 14, I had a paper out, and I spent some big bucks. I got my mother and sister leather jewelry boxes. The wrapping looked about as good as mine ever had. Yeah, the effect was diminished a little bit because the staples poked holes in the leather, but, you know, it's the thought that counts, right? Well, because I've been scorned by my family for years for ruining some pretty expensive wrapping paper, not to mention the jewelry boxes, over the years I have tried various substitutes. I've used Sunday Funnies, ad circulars, all colorful stuff. Lately I'm into aluminum foil. If you keep it from wrinkling too much, you know, it stays smooth and shiny. It looks expensive, at least so long as you keep the serrated edge the box makes when you cut it tucked inside where the paper comes together. Another great feature of aluminum foil is that it has memory. It holds its shape while you fumble with the tape. The only problem is that because it's fairly dense, even when you smoosh up the sides, where there's too much paper, it doesn't lie flat. It just sort of looks like there's something extra on the side, something about the size of a plum. I should get plums. Aren't visions of sugar plums and like that seasonal? Well, this year I'm going to try something different. It won't take cutting or taping or stapling, and it will disguise what's underneath, and that is the ultimate goal. And it won't make little lumps on the sides either because you won't have to smush it. This year, I'll use spray paint. Hey, it'll work. Hey, let me tell you about my book, Shrink. For most of my adult life, I weighed a little over 100 pounds. Not much more than in this picture taken when I was about 17 and considering becoming a jockey. But as is often true, once I crossed into my 40s, extra weight came and it stayed. For years I tried to lose, instead gained, and ended up 153 pounds. And I'm embarrassed to show you this video. Then I learned that it isn't about calories and exercise, but instead it's about what you eat. You might say, sure, ice cream makes you fat. But there were surprises, things like orange juice not being such a wise choice if you're trying to lose weight. So I just made some basic changes to what I ate, not how much, and the weight just fell off. Now, nearly 3 years later, it is still off. And don't misunderstand, I'm eating foods I like, not bamboo shoots. Friends ask me how I did it so often, I put it in a book. It's available as an ebook for all platforms, and the print edition is available at barnesandnoble.com and amazon.com. Hey, you can shrink too. Welcome back. There are a lot of great Christmas songs, and I wanted to include one today, but it's hard to choose among them. But this one has always been one of my favorites. I'll admit to you that until recently, I didn't know it was a World War II song. Just learned that in the last 10, 15 years or so. Duh. Well, anyway, it was written in 1943, and it's from the perspective of the GI far from home. Now, you know, we have plenty of our servicemen and women far from home now, too. In fact, ever since World War II, there's never been a time we haven't, even if we weren't actually shooting and being shot at all the time. So this goes first to those men and women doing what they do, so we can continue to do what we do, and then to everyone else who is doing what they do.
I'll be home for Christmas. You can always count on me. So have some snow, have some mistletoe, and some presents round the tree. Christmas Eve will find me where the love light gleams. I'll be home for Christmas, if only in my dreams. Yes, I'll be home for Christmas, if only in my dreams, if only in my dreams.
All right, while I didn't write that, vis-a-vis the video, I did have some skin in the game. And so, for this week, it's a wrap. If you're celebrating Hanukkah, may it continue to be joyful through these next days. If you celebrate Christmas later this week, I say to you indeed, Merry Christmas. And if you begin celebrating Kwanzaa the day after Christmas, may those days be joyous too. And if you don't specifically subscribe to any of those, but enjoy the lights and the goodwill and the season in general, happy holidays to you. And to everyone, may this upcoming week be the best one you've ever had.